It's December 24, 2021, and just thought I would show you what it looks like here in Bass Harbor. The tide is out right now. As I head over to Southwest Harbor to do a little banking and collect a book for my wife from the library. Here's another view of the harbor as we pass by. Probably noticed, I think, the ice along the edge of the harbor. That's because it's a balmy 23 degrees today and got down to 14 last night. So we will head over to Southwest Harbor and I'll do my banking, and then we're gonna come back via the coastal route. This is the inland route to Southwest Harbor, and so it's a little bit different than my usual route. I prefer taking the coastal route because it's much more scenic. But this morning I needed to go to the post office, so that is on this route, so it was necessary to head over there. And we're now on to Route 102, just turned off of Route 102A, which is a little loop. Starts in Southwest Harbor and goes out to the coast and then comes back out right there. And here is the Bass Harbor Salt Marsh. Turn the camera so you can see out across the salt marsh, which has got a layer of skim ice on the water. And we come back to the main road here. Okay, I'm gonna stop this until we get over to Southwest Harbor. Alright, here we are coming into Southwest Harbor. We're going to go right across the northwest end of the harbor here. And you can see the water out there. I will get a better view of it on the way back. And we're going to come into downtown in just a moment. Southwest Harbor is actually a very small town. And as you've seen in my other videos, downtown Southwest Harbor is not very big. And also, this time of year, not very active because there are very few businesses that are open. And I suspect that today, and especially tomorrow, nothing will be open. I think the bank closes at noon today. So, head into town here. You'll notice that there is no snow except for a little pile here and there where it was piled up a little bit where someone plowed. So, the area is snow-free once again because a couple of days ago we had 50-degree weather and it rained pretty hard. So here's downtown Southwest Harbor. The harbor store is open, probably closes at noon. And that looks like about it today. So very quiet here and not much going on. Just gonna nip in between dump trucks and now I'm gonna head over and park to do my book collection and banking. Alright, finished banking, and it is now 10:03 a.m. and 20 degrees Fahrenheit here in Southwest Harbor, according to the bank thermometer. My truck thinks it's 22, but and we're heading south out of downtown. And as you can see, we left downtown very quickly. And we'll go and turn down and go to the marina and take a look at the marina today, just to see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm at the dock looking out over the Great Harbor Marina, and you can see there are quite a few boats here, mostly lobster boats with 1, 2, 3 schooners. And this is a big change from previous years. Before they finished the breakwater out there, there was just a small ledge, and most of this marina was exposed to the east, and they took out pretty much all the finger piers every year, and the marina was very empty in the winter. But now, since the breakwater has been in, the marina has been busier and busier every year. And what happens is, when the pleasure boats leave, the lobster boats come in. And as you can see, it gets pretty busy here in the winter even, with lots of lobster boats. Now today, there are only a few pickup trucks here on the dock, which means that a couple people have taken their boats out to do a little bit of pre-Christmas fishing. But most of the lobster boats are still in today. It's a little chilly. I think a lot of people just decided not to go out. So there's the Great Harbor Marina. Lots of lobster boats and 3 schooners. The Margaret Todd, and the white schooner there I don't know the name of, and a green schooner down there. And there's one forlorn looking Tanzer 22 right here with a tattered jib, and it looks like a bit of a bent mast. So that's the Great Harbor Marina on December 24, 2021. Oh, and a few dinghies down here that had rainwater from the other day that is now ice in the bottoms. And if we look over here, you can see a lot of seagulls hanging out here on the edge of the dock, including one very large one on that first piling. And there are a bunch more on the fence back there. So very popular area for seagulls. And you can see, I think, some more on the roof of the building, and over here on the roof of the building. Those dark shingled roofs are quite warm on a sunny day, even though the air temperature is down around 20 degrees. Okay, let's move on. I just turned on to Route 102A to go through Manset on the south side of Southwest Harbor, and you can see there's a little bit of sun hitting the lens of the camera. Now what I'm going to do is head down and drive Shore Road right along the water here on the Manset side of Southwest Harbor, because there are some nice views from down there where the view is unobstructed by trees. We're going to head right into the sun for a second, so I'm going to stop. Alright, didn't stop for long. I'm turning down Alder Lane to go down to Shore Road, right on the harbor's edge. And we'll just take a look at the harbor from down here. And there it is ahead of us. And as you can see, not a single boat in sight. There are a few lobster boats and one schooner. You can see the schooner over there with the green hull. And that's about it this time of year. And here's the outer harbor, looking east now. Completely empty, just mooring balls. And we will continue across. I'll put the camera over here so you can see the harbor as we drive along Shore Road. And over there in the distance are the hills of the main part of Mount Desert Island. And there's the barge that has been building a new dock for the summer house right up here. You'll be able to see some of that in just a second. They've been here for over a month. And right down there is the new dock they're building. And what they appear to be doing is expanding the old dock to make a bigger front yard, if you will, for this house. And this house actually is the former boathouse for the 19th century Ocean House Hotel that was just up the hill from here. And here's another view of the water. This is the Manset Town Dock. And you can see a little bit from here. As we go down, there's the view. That's the entrance to Somme Sound in the distance. Bit of a pothole right here. And the hills of Mount Desert Island across Southwest Harbor. And you can see the harbor is totally empty, and in the summer those mooring balls out there on the other side of these docks, which are encrusted with mussels, would be occupied by boats. And all the little red floats are for locations for anchors for piers or floats off of these docks. This is the Hinckley Company's waterfront area, one of their travel lifts, and their floats that are out at the end of their dock in the summer. And on the other side, some of their buildings, and there might be a boat or two over here. Sometimes there are. Nope, they've moved all the boats back into the back of the lot and probably put them in the buildings. They have lots and lots of storage buildings there. They store a couple of hundred boats. As we drive back into the woods as Shore Road pulls away from the shore. Here we come up to the seawall area of Acadia National Park. Here's the Seawall Motel. And it is, I believe, closed for the season. And a few bits of the national park. The pond here has frozen over in the last couple of days. There's a view out over the water. I can't shoot toward the ducks because it would be straight into the sun. And you can see Acadia National Park is not too crowded today. It's 10:20 on Friday, December 24, Christmas Eve, and strangely, we did not get a lot of tourists coming up to visit the national park today, despite the fact that it is a balmy 22 degrees. I don't understand why anybody would let warm weather like that go to waste. Okay, there are a few people walking in the campground, 4 cars there. And let's turn out and see what the picnic area itself looks like. And we will be straight into the sun briefly. I apologize for that. Try to keep the camera aimed off to the side a little bit. There, we can look out this side window. And actually, Oh, they finally closed the gate to the main part of the picnic area. It had been open until just a day or two ago. And here is the shore front right here. As we drive in here, I move the camera to looking out the windshield again because the angle the truck was at was going to have it straight into the sun out the side window. So it's pretty quiet here. One of the few times I've been down here when there were no people here. There may be a few here around noon. A lot of people like to come and eat their lunch here, looking out over the ocean. Okay, here we go, straight into the sun. There's the Duck Islands out there. And the Gulf of Maine. Looks like it might be a little choppier out there, or it may just be an optical illusion. And there's Great Cranberry Island. So it's pretty quiet here today. The water looks very flat, and there are very, very few people here. One person in the picnic area, and that's me. As we come out, and we'll head through the strip of Acadia National Park here on the southern tip of Mount Desert Island, back as we go back over to Bass Harbor. And there's another view of the campground entrance. A little bit of snow left over from plowing along the edges of the road, but other than that, where it was piled up, it is all gone. You may come out here tomorrow and go for a walk in the picnic in the campground. And here we go, heading west across the southern tip of the island. And a few more cars parked. People can walk the campground from here as well. So the campground is pretty popular today. Here we are coming up on the Wonderland Trail, and the parking area right here is completely empty. You know, if we think back 4 months, just 4 months ago, on a sunny Friday morning, there might have been 100 cars at Wonderland and Ship Harbor. Today, so far, a grand total of 0 cars. Although it looks like there is somebody walking Ship Harbor. So 1 car today at Wonderland and Ship Harbor. And we're just going to cruise over here a little bit more and exit the park. And I think I'll take the ride down to the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse and see what it looks like down there. Well, here we are on Lighthouse Road back into Acadia National Park. I apologize for the washed out image. We are driving almost straight into the sun. It's just a little bit off to the left. This road is kept open all year, and you can come down here pretty much every day of the year. The only time it's closed is right after a big storm when they haven't plowed the road yet. And sometimes, if it was a big windstorm, a tree will get blown down across the road, and the lighthouse will be closed. Alrighty, this is the parking area. There was 1 car here when I arrived, and they're leaving. We'll walk over and see what we can see of the water and the lighthouse. The path down to the lighthouse is closed. I suspect that's because the lower part of it is covered with ice. That happens fairly frequently when we have this sort of warm, cold weather. We have a lot of rain, and then it cools right off, and water drains across the lower part of the path, and it gets icy. And here, again, unfortunately looking into the sun, is the view of the lighthouse from the parking lot. Now I'm going to walk out at the other end of the parking lot on the trail that goes down to the rocks. We'll just do a bit through the woods here, and I'm going to get sunstruck every now and then. But we'll walk through the woods and go to the top of the stairs and have a look out over the water from there. Now this trail does get covered with snow. They don't make any effort to clear it off, and it can be a little bit bad walking sometimes after a big snowstorm, particularly given how much freeze thaw we get here in the winter. It can be basically a sheet of ice. But today it isn't like that, and I'm pretty much into the sun, so I'm gonna stop until we get to the stairs. Well, here we are at the top of the stairs, looking toward the Duck Islands in the distance, and you can see the remains of a wake from a lobster boat that just headed across the bar going east. I'm gonna swing around through the sun, and there is the view looking south, and it's quite nice out there today. But you can see some white caps on the bar where the incoming tide is going against the wind and causing a bit of chop to build up. But let's walk over to the other side. We can see out a little further. Yeah, that's Blue Hill Bay over there. It looks a little choppier than out on the ocean today, and you can definitely see the chop on the Bass Harbor bar. It's not bad, but it would be a lumpy passage today. Okay, well that wraps up this little tour from Bass Harbor over to Southwest Harbor and back through the seawall area of Acadia National Park. If you enjoyed this, please click that like button, and I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel and maybe even click that notification bell. Thank you for watching.